Kansans have a special relationship with our meteorologists. We're not like a lot of other states.
I like to think the heroes of our state are our meteorologists.
When you come to Kansas, you want to be like Merril Teller.
Merril equals weather in Kansas.
Goodland, or you're in Dodge City or at Hayes, everybody knows Merril.
You can't say Merril without saying Teller. It's Merril Teller.
I can't think of anyone else that I'd rather put my trust in when lives are on the line than Merril Teller.
Now, Eyewitness Weather with Merril Teller, Kansas' most experienced meteorologist.
Good evening.
Merril, go back to your start date. When did you start here at Channel 12?
Exactly.
Exactly. I know you will know the date.
September 8th, 1981.
And your love for meteorology happened at what point in your life?
You know, as a kid, I spent a lot of time outdoors. And so first thing probably was just clouds intrigued me and the different shapes that they could be and how they change as the day goes on. But also, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, we had a 22-inch snowstorm where I lived. And boy, when you're a little kid and you can see that much snow, that's a lot of fun. On the other side of things, though, when I was 8, Hurricane Donna came right across Long Island. And that was probably really the biggest impetus for me.
I always tell people when they ask me, well, what's Merril like, you know, off camera? And I always tell them that you seem to be a guy that enjoys the science first, being on TV second.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that, Mike. I've always told people that if I had to give up one or the other, it's not even a close call.
I was the government side, National Weather Service, so when you hear a tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service in Wichita, that was us doing that.
Okay, Kurt, we got a tornado watch and includes part of Kansas.
To be a meteorologist in the National Weather Service, your degree is very intensive in math and physics to understand how the atmosphere works. And Merril's one of those that has that degree. You know, if he hadn't have chose broadcasting, he possesses the qualifications to work for the National Weather Service.
The TV happened along. I would admit that at some point that was something that I was thinking about. Maybe I could get into TV at some point in time, and was fortunate enough to be able to do it.
When you started here, Roger talked a little bit about the state of the station when you started, that it wasn't this big dominant #1 station.
No, not even close. We were the proverbial number 4 in a 3-station market. And sometimes I wonder, because I spent an evening here and saw some of the technical problems that we had at the old Channel 12.
For the most part, it was chilly, and there goes my microphone. It's been a rough one tonight, folks.
It was ugly.
It really was. And sometimes I look back at that and go, why did I come?
Here's a look at our forecast for you today. Well, John, if you're outside, you'll be seeing a high of around 46 degrees. There he goes.
Did that give you any pause to come to a station that wasn't doing well at the time?
It did a little bit, but not enough to stop me.
We got a couple more days that we're going to have to put up with showers and even some thunderstorms.
You know, when he started, they were drawing on marker boards.
But we have had some showers.
I've been through magnetic cold fronts and highs and lows. I've been through magic markers on glass-covered maps that you could wash off.
Magnetic meaning you're just putting it up on the board.
Oh yeah, the map of Kansas or the map of the United States was metal. Then came our first computerized weather system. I believe that was in 1983.
A weather graphics computer system has made Merril's weather the most understandable and the most interesting in Wichita.
That was Wanda, our weather and news data assistant.
With it a new set and a new face.
When we first aired Eyewitness News, we were so excited. The graphics were different, the news set was different, everything was different.
Radar used to be, you'd sit in a dark room and it was like watching old TV screens with the blip going round and round, and looking at blobs is about all we could see.
When I came here in 1995, Merril would hand me the forecast, and then I would actually have to type everything in, and everything was done longhand. It wasn't point and click. It was with a pen on an art pad. It was so archaic compared to what we do today.
Things are still rather quiet out there, although
the technology transitions have made me smile over time.
And we're having a little trouble with the computer this evening. It doesn't want to go ahead. Hello? So yeah, I've got this little button in my hand that I push.
With each iteration, with each new system that came in, I gotta say straight up, Merril had a little less tolerance for the learning curve.
Take a break and see if we can fix it. Okay, we'll take a break here real quick.
But you know, to his credit, he put his nose to the grindstone and would figure out how to make the new systems work.
I'm just getting too old for all this highfalutin stuff.
If you look back over those 38 years here in Kansas, what are a few things that really stand out to you?
Well, of course, the tornadoes is the first thing that comes to mind. My first big one was the Andover tornado.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Peters.
I'm Roger Cornish. Thanks for joining us. As predicted, a number of severe storms have popped up across the state. Merril now joins us with the latest. Merril?
Okay, we still have the tornado warning in effect until 6:15 for all of Sedgwick County.
I was in awe of Merril during the Andover tornado.
As of 6 o'clock, the tornado was reported by the Hayesville Police Department.
Merril was like, okay, the tornado is now here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now the tornado is here, so now these people get in your shelter, and now the tornado is here. It was just very calming in a very catastrophic situation.
Be careful, and most of all, take shelter. If you're in the basement, stay there.
If you're out storm chasing and you have a meteorologist like Merril Teller holding your hand as you're rolling up on a storm that could produce a tornado or hail, he will get you in the storm and get you out.
I do feel responsible for our listeners out here.
He helped us over the years, warn so many people to prepare, get ready, and no doubt save lives.
They never really hit you until you drive up in here.
Well, we still have thunderstorms kind of popping up here and there around the south central Kansas area right
Working
now.
with him during tornadoes, those stick out in my mind the most. Hayesville, we just had the 20th anniversary of that. Merril, did you need to get back on?
Yeah, I think we need to kind of update folks up the turnpike in southern sections.
I think that was the first big severe weather event we went through, where I was on the anchor desk and he was doing weather. Of course, Greensburg. That has the biggest impression. It was just Merril and me in the studio that night. It was right when the 10 o'clock news was starting, and I think it's the first time I heard weather emergency words used, weather emergency, and he also made reference to Highway 54, and I thought, this is gonna be bad.
At 9:38, had the tornado just along Highway 183 to the southwest of Greensburg. It has now...
So the night of Greensburg, I was actually not here at the TV station when the tornado hit, but I was called to come in because Merril was losing his voice that night.
At the initial time, we thought it was just maybe a barn or some sort of an outbuilding that maybe had been hit by a tornado or some high winds. We rolled into town, and even a couple miles back, as we see emergency vehicle after emergency vehicle responding and going that way, we knew this is something different. This is a big one.
That you will really, I think, see the impact of what has happened here overnight.
After it had hit, we talked to so many people, and I can't tell you the number of people who said the very last thing I heard before the lights went out was Merril's voice. He saved my life.
It's a humbling experience to have people come and tell you, you saved my life. We did our job the way we think it should be done. I've heard from other people that we were their saviors that night. We're doing our job.
But Merril just has that steady, calm voice. And if you listen, Ross has the same.
It has produced at least one tornado that we know of.
We're going to walk you through this thread. We're going to tell you what you need to do, what you need to focus on, and when it's all over, we can enjoy the sunshine.
If the TV meteorologist is going crazy, that must mean the world's coming to an end.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ross. We have been watching those storms. When you're dealing with a life and death situation, it's important that they absorb that information and not panic.
You got to be calm, cool, collective. You got to have patience. It's an important event to them. It's a serious event to them. It may be kind of chaotic, so we have to be the calm of the storm.
Merril definitely has saved lives over the years with all of these crazy tornado outbreaks that he's covered, flooding.
Merril is very humble. He doesn't see it that way because there are many other people involved in that process.
Jennifer Picking from Salina wants to know how many people it takes to work the storm team. Well, we have 3 full-time meteorologists, we have 3 college interns.
It'd be hard to quantify really Merril's contribution to the lives of our viewers. I mean, how can you tell how many lives were saved?
There's about 100 people around here who, in some way or another, help us do our job.
I thought it was just you all the time.
Whatever the case may be, it's just, we know that countless people have avoided some really bad situations because they listened to Merril over the years.
Merrill's a smart guy, and he's also very witty.
Merril is a walking dictionary, encyclopedia, and thesaurus.
He is very book smart. He's kind of like a walking encyclopedia.
He always has some funny thing to say. He's always in a good mood.
He is truly a team player.
Let's talk about almost your bizarre ability at trivia. I mean, it's almost like you could host Jeopardy.
Well, particularly since we moved over from being in the studio all the time to being part of the physical newsroom, I get to hear a lot of things that I never heard before.
University of Texas Health Science Center, Houston. I'm Dr. Red Duke.
We used to air Dr. Red Duke, 10 o'clock. 3 nights a week, I think. And it's always some medical condition you'd never heard of.
And the same thing is true of your body.
And one time I mispronounced what the condition was. And as soon as we went to the tape, Merril came over and whispered, "It's this."
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm the pronunciation guru and sometimes the grammar guru.
I remember the word, presbyopia. I mean, how do I remember that 20 years later?
When Melissa and I are anchoring, the worst fear we have is if you hear Merril Teller coming your way.
Between stories or in a commercial break, one of us mispronounced something.
He knows about everything. And he does it in the nicest way because he is the nicest person.
Even when he's poking fun at you for pronouncing catchy or Kichai.
Merril's one of those guys that knows every little town. In many cases, have been to those locations.
Day number 4 from Abilene, Kansas. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow here in Lucas. Our forecast for the Sterling area tomorrow. We are in Coldwater, Kansas. Good evening, everyone, and we are in our newest one-of-a-kind Kansas town, and that is Atwood, Kansas.
That's one thing I think about every time the weathercast starts is Merril would always say, "Good evening."
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Well, you know what? I think I can. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Now, your accurate Storm Team 12 forecast.
Good evening.
Merril always had a sense of humor that's a little bit different from everybody else. Not in a bad way, but kind of in a funny way.
Well, if you take the glasses off, it's supposed to look like me.
Merril has like really funny one-liners. You never know what he's going to say with that anchor transition from like our last thing from news when we toss to weather.
Throw another party for the pothole.
Well, you might or might not want to party with the kind of weather that we're going to have.
He has this need, this desire to transition every single story before it to weather.
As long as we're on the rock theme, here's our weather rock.
The weather tool, right?
That's right. If it's white, that means it's snowing, and if it's gone, you've had a tornado.
For years and years, we did severe weather specials, and some of them may have gotten a little wacky because we just didn't want to do the same old thing over and over.
Hi, I'm Merril Teller, along with Brian Greenwald and Mark Larson, and no, we aren't here to sell you an album.
Some other crazy things, but he was always a really good sport and would do whatever was needed to get these shows on the air.
Won't give you a pitch for weather's greatest hits.
He can joke around, but when it's time to be serious, he's serious.
My first memory of watching Merril cover severe weather was, I don't know how many tornadoes we had touched down around our farmstead, but watching him cover the Heston tornado, the Andover tornado. I was still fairly young at the time, but I do remember his level of intensity, because that was such a significant event.
And another tornado was reported.
Merril is the voice that I heard when I was scared as a kid. And I go back to those times and thinking about severe weather when we needed to take shelter. The Heston tornado was really big for us, being in Harvey County. I remember Merril Teller's voice on in the background and me grabbing my rosary and going downstairs to take shelter.
I watched Merril when I was growing up, and I think he does leave behind a legacy. I like telling the story. I went to Greensburg for their anniversary of the tornado there, and I had a woman come up to me and tell me that we were the only ones that she was able to get, and Merril Teller was on, and that Merril had saved her life that night.
Tornadic activity in Kansas this evening.
As a reporter, when you have to go back and we have anniversaries or these things, or we have similar situations that come around, you can't explain how valuable it is to be able to go right across the room and talk to somebody that was there and knows everything about that situation when it happened.
All of us have learned something from Merril over the years. When I first started as weekend anchor, a softball-sized hail hit parts of the town. I was so nervous, and I got through my first show, and I remember him walking over to tell me, "Congratulations." And I said, "Merril, you know, I was so nervous. What could I work on?" And so he sat there and went over some tips with me.
When I first started, I was like baptism with fire, because on my first day, starting at Channel 12, there was a tornado warning, and Merril had to step out for a few minutes, and he took the mic off and handed it to me. So I knew from the beginning that Merril trusted me.
Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Ross Jansen.
Look what happened with Ross. He was here in high school and then in college. He worked at the TV station in Lawrence while he was going to KU, and now he's chief meteorologist at his hometown station.
You know, this is a guy that I grew up watching, and here we are 30 years later moving into his position, but I knew that Merril had, you know, supported me in this transition.
All of that was really set into motion 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, I thought, you know what, by the time I get to 66, 67 years old, I'm probably going to be about ready to step aside. So all of that was actually pre-planned.
How classy is that to move to a different role and let the next generation come ahead?
I wouldn't know a different way to do things. I mean, we're here as a family, so to speak, and if we can't build each other up and help each other when that's necessary, then you're not doing the right thing.
It's crazy to think that it is, in some ways, an end of an era.
When you think of Channel 12, you think of Merril as, you know, if we had a Mount Rushmore, he would be up there with Roger.
You walk in and you hear people talk about the team that was here for so long, and Merril was a big part of that.
Channel 12's been fortunate that we've had 4, I'm going to call them anchors, you know, with Roger and Cindy and Bruce Hurdle in sports and Merril.
They set a culture here at Channel 12.
Mike keeps talking about it the past several weeks leading up to Merril's retirement about, I think Mike's going through more of a change than anyone, because he's like, oh my gosh, it's the last of the old guard.
It's rare in our business to have someone not just pull out and leave. Every one of them wanted to make sure that they left it in good hands.
All of those people have set up the next generation. Mike, Melissa, Jacob, Ross.
I've learned so much from Merril, and I'm just excited that he was here all of these years to show the rest of us how the job can be done and to do it the right way.
Those things about integrity, dependability, accuracy, those are the legacies that we'll try to continue.
We don't want them to go by any means, but they've all done their job in preparing us, and that's just being themselves and leading by example. I hope we make them proud.
Working in news over 4 decades, that's almost unheard of.
That's a long time in this industry, and you have to love a community, love a state to stay here that long.
Every person that's come through here in my 20 years, he supports them.
He's taken so many people under his wing and shared with them his experiences and his professionalism.
We have great meteorologists who will fill in his shoes, and we'll have great forecasts, and the viewers at home will have dependable meteorologists to rely upon. But what we won't have is Merril.
But as time goes on, that's how life is. Life goes on. But I'm sure it'll be tough for some people. And for myself, it will be strange not flipping on a Channel 12 and not seeing good old Merril Teller on the TV anymore.
His legacy is certainly solid, being inducted into the Kansas Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
If there's a Mount Rushmore of Kansas meteorologists, he's the first face up there, in my opinion.
So we're set up great for the future at KWCH because of Merril.
Well, the station is in good hands. The right people are in place to take it forward for the next 2 or 3 decades if they want to stay that long.
Plans after retirement. What are you going to do? What is Merril Teller interested in?
Hope to get back to some participating sports that I haven't been able to do with my schedule for a while. Get back to bowling, which is a favorite of yours and mine.
We were at a Big Brothers Big Sisters bowling event. My daughter was there and we were having fun, and one of my favorite videos I have of my time here is Merril, who's a really good bowler, if you can believe it. Of course he is. And, you know, ball in the bag, brings it out, that kind of a thing. I look over and he's bowling with she was barely walking, so just over a year old. They're sitting over there bowling together, and it was so fun to watch that.
But you're really into soccer. We've mentioned that a few times, but a lot of people don't know that you do some refereeing on the side.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a player. I'm a referee. I get to control things. I don't get to control the weather, but no, that's one of the things. I've been doing that for over 25 years.
My kids have played in AYSO for a couple of years, and he's reffed several of their games. He and I get into yelling matches during the game, and it's all out of fun, but the fans are wondering, why in the world is the ref yelling at this fan, and why is this fan berating the ref?
So a lot of people don't know that Merril is quite a softball player.
Last summer, Merril played on our softball league, which was interesting because I don't really get to see Merril a lot outside of work, so it was fun to kind of interact with him in that team setting.
He's got such a great attitude. It doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing, it's just fun to play with Merril, and he's got skills.
If there's anything to do with Rutgers, he's all over it. I remember he drove to Lawrence when Kansas wasn't good at all just to watch a Rutgers game. Now, there are not a lot of people in the country that at the time that game was played would go out of their way to watch Kansas and Rutgers football play. You couldn't have kept Merril away from that game.
I didn't ask about your family, because I'm sure they're excited that they get you back.
He's been working in this particular building for longer than I've been alive. It's just kind of been the reality for most of Central Kansas for the last 38 years that Merril Teller's going to be on TV every night.
My wife, I think, is ready to have me back on a full-time basis. My son, well, of course, he's here in Wichita also, but he's off flying airplanes so much of the time.
But you have grandchildren too?
I do have grandchildren. People ask, are you going to stay in Wichita? Are you going to go somewhere else? I said, the grandkids are in Wichita. We ain't going anywhere.
Congratulations, Granddaddy. Let's go play some golf.
The end of an era. Congratulations, Merril, on your retirement. I know you're looking forward to spending even more time with your grandkids.
Congratulations on your retirement, Merril. It's well deserved. Just think about this. No more late nights covering storms. No more getting up early to come in to cover the morning show.
No more late nights in the Weather Center. Congratulations on retirement, Merril.
Congratulations, Merril. Enjoy retirement.
Enjoy some time with your grandkids, some time watching some more Mets baseball and some Rutgers football as well.
Congratulations, Merril, on a well-deserved retirement. We're going to miss you, but congratulations.
Retirement is wonderful. It is wonderful. But I know the Wichita viewers are going to miss you.
Congratulations, Merril, on 38 years at KWCH.
Merril, the man, the myth, the legend, congrats on your retirement.
38 years here at Channel 12. Thank you for all you've done to keep Kansans safe.
Congratulations, Merril, on the retirement. While you won't be coming into work, people are probably still going to ask you about the weather.
But I know you'll have plenty to do and keep yourself active. We're really going to miss you around here.
You have been aces. You have been solid over these many years.
And not just a great meteorologist, but a great person. Thank you.
We are all excited for you, and we all love you and thank you for everything that you've brought to Channel 12.
When the storm cloud comes up after your retirement, you just sit home and watch and enjoy.
I can tell you, you're in for a great time. So congratulations, buddy.
You know, though, you're still on the softball team, so we need you to come out. We need that first base power.
You will probably have plenty of time to go and do lots of bowling during your retirement.
Merril, you're a stud. You've kept most of Kansas safe, informed throughout all these years.
He's been part of our family because he's been in our living room for so many years.
You know, I'm no member of Storm Team 12, but I have it on good authority that clear skies are ahead for you in retirement.
We're going to miss you, but it's a well-deserved time off, so enjoy it.
We're all very proud of you and very excited to spend the next several years with you in retirement.